4 weeks ago, I set out on a mission to convert this old electrician's van into a budget micro home on wheels. The rules were simple: stick to my strict budget of £2,000 and build a simple yet functional camper van that anyone will be able to replicate. And with only £466.41 remaining of my £2,000 budget, these final expensive touches may leave me with an unfinished van.
It's another day and we've got a lot to do today. I mean, it's technically just finishing touches, but this bed needs to be pulled out. We're going to take this unit out as well because it will need painting. Going to leave that unit in place and just sort of mask off the floor and paint that. I also need to fit the curtain today. The side door that's now currently open needs a window in it, and the toilet is going to sit underneath the bed, which has arrived. We just need to check to make sure it fits, and then we just need to work out a way to fasten it down. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am getting a little concerned about the budget. We've got less than £500 left. The majority of that's going to be eaten up by the cushions when they arrive. They are on their way. Paint wise, I'm probably just going to use the same paint that I use for the walls anyway, so that will save a little bit of money, and then I can always paint it a different colour later on if I feel like it's too white. The curtain that separates the front cab from the back was pretty cheap, so I'm not too concerned about that. But the window on the side is what's going to really sort of blow the budget out completely. So this £2,000 build, I mean, it's pretty close, and there are corners that you could cut to keep it within 2,000, but I think we are going to go over. I've masked off all the way around here ready for paint. In an ideal world, have newspaper to lay out on your floor to stop you getting paint on it, but I'm going to be using just this bit of cardboard, so when I'm painting over at that end, I'll have that there, and then I'll just move it around with me. So everything has had 2 coats. So I'm just going to take the tape up now. Hopefully I haven't bled out over the floor too much. That looks absolutely fine. Right, so that's that bit done. I can probably get the bed back in now. There are all the doors painted. One of those are done. Remember at the beginning where I said this van needed a toilet? Well, I've got this one, which is the Thetford Porta Potty 145. It's like the cheapest one they do, but the main reason why I got it is because it needs to be able to fit under the bed. Now it does need something to stop it from sliding around, so I'm going to build just like a little lip. Then maybe put like a bungee cord along the front just to stop it from flying around, because the last thing you want to do when you're driving with a toilet in the back of the van is have it not secure, because if it goes over, well, you can imagine what that mess will be like. I'm not actually sure how long that's going to stay like that for. This bungee cord is probably not going to do a lot, but for now, until I think of something better to do, that will do. Now to make this wall here look a little bit more like a kitchen, I've got these stick-on tiles that I've used before. For some reason I went for the white ones with the grey grout. So the wall's probably not going to look that much different, but at least it will look a little bit more like a kitchen. There's 20 of these in here, probably way too many than what I need, but it's always good to have spares. So these are these stick-on tiles. I think they look fine. It's the scribing, because obviously all of this isn't straight, so I don't know whether to go all the way or just to sort of stop here. I'm going to put probably a shelf up there, so I'm thinking probably just go up to there with the tiles. 3 of those in a row, that'll do quite nicely. Right, there it is. I think it's level. Now, so one of the things that I found when cutting this is that if you try to cut it in like a straight line with a Stanley blade, it just tears it. So you've kind of almost got to go in like a sawing motion, especially like if you're going to be doing sort of weird edges like that.
It's another day, and today we're going to be fitting a curtain to divide the back of the van from the cabin. Fingers crossed, it is exactly what I expect it to be. The guy informed me that it does come with everything. It comes with a cab divider, which is this bit here. That's the runner, and the carpet, and the curtain, and all the mounting parts. Right, let's just see what we're dealing with here. Whenever I've fitted curtains before, the last time I did one like this in this van, I went to B&Q and I bought a blackout curtain, and then I sort of did all this myself. So putting these little poppers in so you can stick it to the side of the wall, putting the sort of rails in and everything. But for the amount of what it cost me to actually build my own, I mean, this was like 50 quid. So why go to the hassle when there's companies out there that specialise in this stuff? I mean, you're probably supposed to bend this into shape, but what I'm finding is that if I just screw it in, it kind of takes its own shape, which saves me from doing it wrong. As the curtain's not covering up this where you can actually see into the roof lining, I might need to get like a thing from Vauxhall, like a blank to go on there. In my last Vauxhall Vivaro, I didn't have any of this problem because there was no bulkhead, so they'd actually like boxed it all in. But with this one, because there was a bulkhead in, it's not boxed in, so I will need to get that sorted, because still being able to see that will very much annoy me. There are tie backs, but I think it looks better without the tie backs, to be honest. That side is fine. So what I need to do, because all these are falling off and they don't give you any stops on the end of these rails, is I'm just going to pop a screw in the end just to work as like a stop, just to stop all of these from sliding off and ruining my day. Boom. And then undo the curtain, pull this back to there, pull this one back, to there. Ta-da!
So you remember when I installed this curtain earlier in the video? Well, I got it from a company called Shaw Vans, and I didn't actually know this at the time because I just ordered the curtains off eBay. But I was going out for the day with my son and I drove past their warehouse, and it turns out there's one quite local. So I paid them a visit, let them know that well, I asked them, do they do any stoppers that go on the ends? They should have been supplied with the curtains originally. They apologised and just gave me a full new set. So really happy with the customer service. I also had a little tour of their warehouse and they've got a lot of stuff there. They did say that they mainly do sort of like VWs. You know, they do everything from windows and veil trim and everything, so this is probably where I'm going to go to get the veil trim to finish the other van, but it's just nice to know there's somewhere local that will look after you. So highly recommend them. Like everything, where I got the curtains will be linked below. It will just be a link to their eBay page, but I'll also link their website as well. I've also put in the cutout switch now. A lot of people were sort of asking me what happened to that when I did the electrical stuff, but the reason why I didn't put it in until now is because I didn't know where I wanted it to go. I knew it was going to go on this unit somewhere, but I didn't want it to sort of interact with the toilet or anything. And now the last part of the jigsaw will be installing the cushions. So I knew I was going to have an issue with this. The issue that I knew I was going to have with these cushions is that I actually ordered this 3 weeks ago, because that's how long it takes to make them, and I based it on the size that I was going to make the bed. So I knew the measurements of the bed because I'd already planned it out, so I ordered the cushions to fit that. But what I didn't take into account is this pillar here. So now when that cushion's pushed all the way up there, we're about 2 inches too long. Whereas the bottom one's fine, it just needs a little corner taking out of it here. So even though these cushions cost me this much, which completely ate the remainder of the budget for this van, I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off. I can always get this re-sewed up anyway. I'm obviously gonna unzip it, cut a bit of foam off, and then just sort of fold this over for a minute, and then eventually I'll just get it re-stitched. But yeah, it seems like such a shame to have to do that, but you know, you've got to sort of roll with what you've got. All I would say to you is build your bed and then take your measurements of what size foam and covers that you need. That way you're not going to mess it up. But because it was like a 3-week wait time to actually get them made, I had to sort of get the ball rolling and just order it. But with you, I would recommend building the bed first, measuring it, then ordering them. Now there are cheaper ways of doing this as well. You could actually just buy some foam. If you're handy on the sewing machine, you could make your own covers. I went for the easiest option so that you could follow along if you needed to. I like the colour, I like the way they look, they just need to fit a bit better. Oh, it's going to be such a shame cutting this. I've literally just got to take a little corner off here, and then the other side it's going to have to be 2 inches all the way along. So my experience whenever I've cut foam in the past, the best way to do it is with a bread knife. We will find out if I've made a huge mistake or not in just a few moments. I'd say that worked pretty well. Probably could do with coming this way a bit more, but that's fine. I'm happy. I think that worked fine. So I now have to do it with this one. And this is the one that's sort of a little bit more worrying because, well, you know, it's a bigger cut I've got to do. Look at that. To be fair, I think that came out absolutely fine. So a few other updates as well. I did actually put another support in under the bed just in case. I've also got this spice rack in now, so standard IKEA one, and this USB charger for my phone, just to have an extra socket really. It's been there a little while, but I just realised I didn't mention it in any of the videos. So now I've got charging ports here, USBs, cigarette lighters, but I also have somewhere to charge phones from there as well. Alright, well, that's it. We're out of money. I have a few regrets. I think the saddest thing is that I didn't actually manage to get a window put in. It would have put me over the budget, and the whole point of this series was to keep it within £2,000, and I think I did pretty well. And because I know I'm going to go over, I do have it booked in to have a window installed in it. And it's going to cost me about £250. You can obviously do it for cheaper. You can buy your own glass and install it yourself, but as I'm going to go over budget anyway, I figured I might as well just pay a professional to do it. Gives them a bit of business, and also I will have the peace of mind knowing that it's been done properly. To be fair, I knew this £2,000 build budget was going to be tight based on how much I actually wanted to put in this van. But I pretty much accomplished everything I wanted to do, other than putting in the side window and installing the fridge. But at the same time, I knew that that was going to be like a luxury item that I would need to add at some point, but might not necessarily come into this £2,000 build budget. As far as the build goes, I'm really happy with the results. I'm really happy with the time it took me to build this van as well. And this is just proof that with a bit of time and a bit of planning, you can start from a normal electrician's van and actually end up with something that you can actually go away on weekends or for longer for a fraction of the price than buying an already converted van. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey. It's been fun. The total spent, and I know you've been waiting for this, the total spent on this van, not including buying it, but people have been asking, I paid £6,000 for the van when it was just a normal van, plus the build budget, which came to this much. I'd say for that total, I've done pretty well. Now you don't have to spend £6,000 on a van. You could buy one like this for probably half that, but it probably would have a lot more problems further on down the road. If you buy a decent van with decent history and not too bad a mileage, that you know has been looked after, the van should last you a very long time. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel through buying me a beer through link in the description, and also all of my Patreons as well. You're all absolutely legends. But also thank you to everyone that's been coming back every week to watch this build series and my other videos as well. So I guess all there is to do now is start enjoying it. I'll see you next week. Cheers.